I have both the Momcozy bottle washer and the Eufy bottle washer, so let's compare them. To start out, you can see there's quite a bit of a size difference here. This one is a little bit shorter, this one is a little bit taller. This one's actually too tall to fit under my cabinet because I put my cabinets pretty short because I'm a short person. This one just barely fits under my cabinet, so this one's going to go to a different spot when I actually use it. The backs are currently lined up, and they also, keep in mind, need a little extra 1.5 inches for the cord on each of them. And so you can see the Eufy is quite a bit bigger, about 2 inches there. It definitely holds a lot more, so that is a trade-off that you get, but it takes a lot more counter space if you have limited counter space. That's something to consider. Both washers come with their own detergent tablets. Eufy comes with 30, Momcozy comes with 60. The Momcozy ones are little like this, and you put them in first. And the Eufy ones are a little bit bigger like this, and you put them in last in a little slot. I'll show you that when I get to that part. Weirdly, both of them say to wash your hands after touching them, so I'm gonna go do that. And now I'm gonna go ahead and fill both bottle washers and show you what it looks like. It's very important when you're loading your machine, you make sure to put these bottles over the spout. If you don't put them over that spout, they will not get clean enough. All the things on the outside get a little bit less water. Those get a lot of direct water, so to get all the way up there, especially if you have taller bottles, since I'm breastfeeding, I only have 5-ounce bottles, but like, especially if you're formula feeding and using taller bottles, you want to make sure that that is on the spout. Super important. I got bottles in the middle, some pump parts around the side. Let's put it on the top. On the top, I wasn't quite sure if these flanges would fit. They're pretty tall. These are pretty tall flanges, but they do actually fit, so I was pleasantly surprised by that. And since this one is a little shorter, I can actually fill it up with just the hose from my sink, which is so nice compared to a bottle, like, pouring situation. Ooh, almost overfilled it. Classic. So I actually put some of these casters, I brought over my paper towel roll to show what they look like without flipping over my bottle machine, but these casters roll, and that allows you to just like roll it in and out from under your cabinet, which is super nice. Highly recommend getting some of these. They're very cheap. And now we're going to turn it on. It's automatically set to do the normal, which is the wash, the steam, and the storage, which is the drying. And I'm just going to hit start. And that's the sound of it filling. And this is the volume when it's running. And now let's take a look at the Eufy. So the Eufy is a much bigger machine. It's got a lot more space in it. So this one is, I think, a bit more conducive for wearable parts because they take up a lot more space. It can fit 8 bottles, whereas the Momcozy is advertised as fitting 4 bottles. You can, of course, fit other things around that, but there's specifically 8 bottle spouts. For bottles, I feel like this one's not as good. Like, I still put bottles in there and it did wash them, but some of the bottles fell over because this is on the spout. The orange spout right there is what it's supposed to be on, but it's not tall enough to fit over there. So like, this is only useful for holding a bottle if you have like an 8-ounce or bigger bottle. And as a breastfeeding mom, I never needed an 8-ounce or bigger bottle because it was always 5 ounces and below. So not as good for the bottle part. That being said, much better for wearable pumps. All of these that you see along the edge can come out. And they come out very easily. There's like 6 of these. These also come out. So that's a lot of customizability that is pretty nice. Now, the Momcozy also has a lot of that customizability, but this is just bigger. So now that I've taken that out, this is still covering one of the spouts, so this will get clean, but there's so much space in there. I am going to put a couple of those back over here so that I can add this here, and those can get clean as well. Unlike the Momcozy, the top shelf of the Eufy does have additional spouts up here, so things get more up here. So I'm going to just fill this up with whatever I've got left. Alright, now I've added all of the parts from that Dr. Isla, and going to just put these on these little hooks here. The duckbills can go in these little spots. Detergent tablet goes right here. Alright, fitting one more thing and she's ready. And since this one is bigger so it doesn't fit next to my sink, I do have to fill this up with water. And unfortunately, I do have this bucket of water where it drains into because I can't have it drain directly into my sink, which is unfortunate. That's a huge downside of the Eufy for me. Oh, you know what? For filling it, you can actually remove the Eufy jug, so I could put this in my sink to fill it. This is actually really nice. I do like this. I like that that can come out. Okay, I'm going to start the Eufy, and it has the same kind of settings going on, and it shows you which setting you're in by blinking. Okay, so now the Eufy is running. It is definitely a lot louder than the Momcozy. Notable is that both machines want you to use distilled water. I am not doing that. I accept my hard water, and it does affect how my machines work after a little bit of time, which is unfortunate. The Eufy does have a separate water softener attachment that you can add, which is super cool. Momcozy doesn't have anything like that you attach, but it does have descaling tablets, which you can use to clean the machine if you do have hard water. Okay, let's take a look and see how everything is. These bottle nipples are looking real good. These were all along the top. Definitely dry. Duckbill valves are good to go. Little pro tip for you. I like to just toss that in there when there's no water in it for just storing it, because otherwise it just ends up somewhere on the counter. These are all ready to go right in my basket to get assembled. This one still has a little bit more time, but I need to go to bed. So we're gonna open it up right now and see how it did. Definitely got some pooling water in here. That's my fault for placing them that way. I also don't know where I can put these where they wouldn't collect water, but definitely clean. These diaphragms are still wet as well. I know once leaving overnight they're fully dry. This is a bit more wetness than I kind of expected. That's okay. I don't need these until tomorrow, so I'm gonna close them up and let them fully dry until tomorrow. As far as cleaning goes, I do feel like they probably clean about the same amount. They're both effective bottle washers. Which one's better for you, I think, is really gonna come down to space. Price, the Momcozy is significantly cheaper, but it also holds way less. Like if you use a lot of wearable parts, Momcozy is only gonna fit one set of wearable parts. So if you're using 3 sets of wearable parts in a day, that might be hard. But if you're using traditional parts, definitely a lot easier to fit in the Momcozy. If you're formula feeding, a lot easier to fit in the Momcozy for sure. And if you're using smaller bottles, the Momcozy makes a little bit more sense. But the Momcozy can only wash 4 bottles at a time versus 8 for the Eufy. They definitely both have their pros and cons, and especially since Momcozy seems to have fixed some of the issues that I had last time I had a Momcozy, I'm actually feeling a lot better about it than I was this time a year ago. Just focusing on their capabilities and what they're able to do, both are usable machines. It's really going to come down to your space, your budget, and what you need them for. I hope that this has been helpful for you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.